This is the handover for the WildAx Europa. We'll begin on the outside with the fuel system. Filler cap is not affected by the central locking, so it's just the ignition key in to twist. Directly below that you've got your AdBlue system. It's an AdBlue indicator light that will come on if it needs to be topped up on the dashboard. When you first open the cab door, down underneath the passenger seat you have your vehicle toolkit, and then below the carpet you've got your vehicle engine battery. On the end of the dashboard is your bonnet release. To get under the bonnet, work your fingers up behind the back of the Citroen badge, and there's a lever. Pull up on that lever and you should be able to open it up. Over on the extreme left hand side you have your screen washer fluid. There's a funnel in the door pocket which gives you access then for your screen wash. Over on the left hand side you have your screen wash access. Removing this trim cover enables you to get access to your brake fluid, power steering fluid, and also the radiator fluid. Oil fillers located down there. There's a funnel that's in the door pocket which assists you with filling, and then your dipstick is in the front of the engine block. Pull up like so. Because of the position of the engine battery, if you ever need to jump start it, use the ignition key to release this cap. Positive end goes onto that blade just there, and the negative goes onto the bolt, and that enables you to jump start. On the driver's side of the vehicle you have an access port for the onboard fill tank. Tank size on this one is 30 litres. Underneath the van there is an isolation point as well. Further along the vehicle you have your access for your toilet cassette. The flush water comes directly from your onboard tank, so you only need to worry about the cassette itself. Pull up on the smaller green tab, pull the whole cassette towards you, and then for disposal you remove the green cap completely, tip the whole thing up and press this green button at the top. That allows airflow to go into the top and allows the waste to discharge from the bus. Before you load it back in, remove the cap. Up to a capful of base chemical for green for the Highlands is what we recommend, mixed with about 2 litres of water, and then you should be able to load it back in nice and smoothly like so. There's a grab handle for wheeling the cassette about as well. Log it up for security. Further along the skirt you've got grey and blue drain points. These are the accesses for the onboard tanks which are underslung. They have got heaters onto them as well. Drive over a drain or a gully to discharge your grey water from your shower tray, vanity unit and kitchen sink, and then if you need to drain the fresh water system down then you can obviously open up on that one there. The filling of the fresh water tank is done via this cap, and again key access. Don't mistake it for the diesel one on the opposite side. Hose pipe straight in, and you should hear the tank overflow when you're filling. There's an internal gauge as well. At the rear of the vehicle you've got an exhaust vent for the heating system. So if the system's being operated on gas you'll likely see a bit of a condensation plume around it. And then right at the very back you've got your mains hookup. We'd always recommend that you connect this part of the van first of all and then connect to your sight post. So pull the cap through to the 90-degree position, push in nice and firmly and it should connect up, and then to release push down on the blue tab and that enables you to disconnect. When you open up the back doors you've got access panels there, so your mains lead is stowed into this one. There's a longer locker down underneath the end of the U-shaped lounge into there. When you open up the sliding door there are two features. You've got your electric step function, which you can use to open and close the step. And also you've got your slide screen. Use both hands to draw it all the way over and use both hands to retract. Make sure that it's fully retracted before you close the door. When you first come into the vehicle, above the passenger seat you have your 12-volt control panel. Bottom left hand switch enables you to activate that panel, be accompanied with a bleep. On the top left, you have a master switch for your 12-volt system. So that's activating not only the interior lights, but also any 12-volt sockets. Adjacent to that, you have your water pump switch. And we'd recommend that you use your water pump on demand and not leave it on through the night or during the day when it's not in use. There's an outside awning light above the sliding door, and you can adjust the brightness of the interior lights on that adjustment there. On the lower row, you have a program switch that enables you to go in and change functions such as the clock or the color of the back screen. And then you have a fresh water level and wastewater level indicator, as well as a battery level indicator for both the engine and habitation batteries. Above the sliding door, you have your interior light switches, as well as your air temperature sensors for the heating system, and an additional light for the opening of the sliding door. There's a plastic cover that protects the mains RCD switches. These are in the up position at the moment because we have connected to the main supply. To turn the main supply off, press both switches down, and you can then disconnect the main supply externally. When you reconnect, pull up on the primary switch, and there's a little test switch that's next to it. That should trip out, indicating that you have a safe usage. You should then be able to pull up on those individual switches. They're then connected up to the battery charger, which is in the corner, and all the 12-volt systems within the vehicle run through these fuse boxes here, which have all got labels and markings on them for their associated functions. In the adjacent box, you have your leisure battery, so all the time that the vehicle is being driven, the alternator will charge both batteries simultaneously. When you plug into the main supply, you can select which battery is to be charged. In the back rear corner of the van, you have your water heater. So the Truma system is both your gas and electric water heater, as well as your room heating. It's a 10 litre or 2 gallon tank. Over on the right hand side of the tank, as you look down on top of it, as well as the water pump, you'll see a yellow tab on the floor, and that yellow tab works as the drain valve. Lifted into the vertical position, it allows the content of the water heater to discharge for frost protection. Returned back to the horizontal position, and it will allow the water heater to be recommissioned and refilled. With your Truma water heating room heating system, having primed the unit by drawing water all the way through your sinks and shower, you can then turn on the appliance by pressing the black center button. Almost immediately you'll see the time clock, and because we're currently plugged in onto the main supply, you'll see this mains symbol down in the base. For the room heating selection, choose the first symbol, select on that symbol, and then you can increase the temperature to your desired output. All the time that it's trying to reach that temperature setting, you'll see this top symbol begin to flash up here once it's calibrated. You can turn it up and turn it down by going back into that function there. And you'll see now that the top symbol is now flashing. Once that top symbol becomes solid, then it's an indication that it's reached that temperature setting. For the water heating, it's a similar function. Go through the off. There's an eco mode, which will bring the water up to 40 degrees. It's a hot mode, which will take the water up to 60 degrees centigrade, and a boost mode, which will temporarily suspend the room temperature setting and take it from 40 to 60. And again, whilst it's trying to achieve that hot water, you may well see the top symbol flash as we have there. Currently, we've got the van set on the gas, so it's drawing from the underslung tank. However, you can change that setting to a pure electric mode, either drawing down on a 900 or an 1800 watt electric element, depending on the output that's available from the campsite. In colder climates, you might prefer to use a combination of both the electric and the gas together, either on the low electric setting or the high electric setting. So we've chosen now to have both sources of energy available, and we're heating both the hot water and room heating system. When we go to the fan symbol, you can increase the speed of the fan. With the water heating and the room heating system switched off, you can just use the fan on its own, just for recirculating airflow if the weather is warm. All of those functions can be set up via a timer. It's a basic timer that will turn the appliance on, say, at 8 o'clock in the morning and turn it off at 4 o'clock in the evening. that has to work in conjunction with you setting up the clock on there. Alternatively, this is an iNet model, and Truma do a app which can go onto a smartphone, and you can control the heating system and water heating in a more sophisticated manner. To choose that option, you'll need to press in on this one until you see the app symbol. However, if you press and hold for a couple of seconds, it will turn the entire appliance off completely. The Thetford fridge is a 3-way unit. Press and hold in on the end square for a couple of seconds and all of the display characters light up. You can choose to use it in an automatic mode where it will self-select its energy source, or you can override it and put it into a manual, a battery mode for driving the vehicle, and a gas mode. If it's unable to find a particular application, then it will flash a warning at you to return and reset it. On the gas mode, it's automatic ignition, so as long as there's gas available, it should self-ignite. It's ventilated externally, so it's perfectly safe to use. You can thermostatically adjust by pressing the second character over, and for defrosting, you can put it into this mode, and that assists with the defrost. To turn the appliance off, press and hold on the button on the end, and that will deselect it. There's a gas indicator on the dashboard. It will tell you how much gas you've got available to use. So avoid draining the gas tank out completely. To light up the hob, use the igniter and draw the gas through on the individual burners, like so. There's no isolator on these lids, so in the event of this lid coming down, this will continue to burn and eventually the heat will shatter the glass. You've got an oven and grill combination. Most owners like to put in some kind of protection to stop these from rattling around, so make sure anything flammable has been removed first of all, and then anti-clockwise to light up the gas for the oven and clockwise to light it up for the grill. Below the oven you have a cupboard, and then behind at the back of that cupboard there's another access hatch, and that gives you access then to your isolator taps for the individual appliances. They're all on at the moment. If they're rotated through 90 degrees, then it isolates the supply to those individual appliances if that's what's required. For the toilet cassette use, lift up your seat. There's a wastegate lever which opens up on the left hand side, so just turn that handle through approximately 80 degrees, and that allows then all of your waste to go through. Water comes directly from your onboard fresh water tank, so push down firmly on that and you'll see a jet of water go around the inside of the bowl. Use as much or as little liquid as you desire. As the tank is slowly filling up, so you'll see a series of lights come up on the left hand side. Close over. Avoid leaving any fluid sitting in the bottom of the bowl, because as soon as you pull the cassette out, that water that's trapped there will drop into the cassette storage area. And then close over everything after use. With the cab controls on the driver's door, you have your electric mirror function, so you can use the joystick to direct the mirror that you want to move with the ignition on. Both the blind spot mirrors and the main mirrors can be operated from that way, and then you have your electric window function as well as a central locking function. When you move just inside, on the right hand side of the steering wheel, you've got your headlamp beam adjustment as well as your mode, which gives you access to some of the functions such as your mileage recording on there, and then rear fog lamp as well as the means of isolating the start-stop function. When you first start up the vehicle, foot on the clutch and it should turn over nice and neatly, and you'll get your various indicator lights coming on, including handbrake and door open function. Around steering wheel you've got 3 stalks, so over on the right hand side you've got your wiper controls as well as your screen wash. On the left hand side you've got your side lights and main beam as well as your indicator controls, like so. Below that sits your speed limiter and cruise control, so rotate the bezel either upwards for the cruise or downwards for the speed limiter, and then you can use the plus and minus for the settings of those controls. In the center of the steering wheel, these are connected up to the radio player, so you have your volume control and a volume mute, as well as your telephone adjustment controls as well. Centrally located is the stereo. When it's first turned on, you'll get your Citroen symbol, and then you should be able to immediately access your radio stations. So lower down above the cup holders, you have your USB point, which is connected up to the media unit for the stereo. You can also Bluetooth connect your phone as well. Navigation is done via a TomTom system, which has already been preset. And then your volume controls and your tuning controls on the left and right hand side. Below the radio function, you've got your ventilation controls. So the speed of the fan is done by rotating the bezel clockwise, and the temperature control is done on that function at the top. And then you have external and internal ventilation, depending on whether you're using the air conditioning or not. And then adjustment for the direction of the fan within the vehicle, and air conditioning is on from there. Lowest controls, you have heated mirrors, which are operated from there. You can operate the central locking system on that one as well as your hazard lights. ASR turns off the traction control device if that's required. There's a pull-up on the dashboard, and you can then use that to release and grip the phone. Located in the top glove box is a vent which feeds through from the air conditioning, so it could be used as a dashboard freezer or fridge as well. Passenger airbag, and then a lower locker as well. You have Remus cab blinds. Pinch these tabs together. There's a magnetic strip on the edge, and they should join up. For the windscreen ones, they come across from side to side and join magnetically within the middle, like so. When you're returning them, make sure that they are clicked back into position. Side ones are a little bit more delicate than the front ones, so just operate them with respect. So that completes the handover for your WildAx Europa. On behalf of Highland Camper Vans, thank you very much for watching. Sincerely hope this van's going to give you lots of miles and lots of smiles. But if you have any questions, you know how to get in contact with us. Take care. Bye for now.